So you're working out hard and you're eating healthy and you're trying your best, you're feeling that hunger and you're feeling like you're, working, but you're not actually losing weight. The scale actually isn't going down, and every time you look at the mirror, there is nothing new, right? There is just same old you with a belly, and you hate that. And you're wondering why this is happening because you're actually working out hard and you're actually eating the right amounts of food, you're not overeating, and you're kind of watching your portion sizes and all of that. So what is happening? In today's video, I'm going to explain the exact reason why you're not losing weight. I'm going to reveal you the reason, the thing that's stopping you. Then I'm going to show you exactly how you can actually start losing weight. I'm going to show you 2 ways you can start losing weight today, right now. And these are the only 2 ways that any person on this planet can lose weight. And then at the end, I'm going to give you a step-by-step plan that you can take and that you can implement these things that we learn here into your life literally right now after watching this video today. So stick around with me and let's dive into the first thing. Why are you not losing weight? So you're working out hard, you're eating healthy, and you just for some reason are not losing weight. You're doing everything right. The people that tell you how to lose weight. You go to the gym, you eat healthy, you run and you do all of those things, and you should lose weight, right? So why are you not losing weight if you're doing all of those things? I'm gonna reveal you the single reason why this is happening, and you're not losing weight because you're not in a thing called calorie deficit. And don't worry, I'm going to explain to you right now what exactly calorie deficit really is. So you're not in a calorie deficit, and that is why you're not actually losing weight. Calorie deficit means that you are giving your body less energy than it needs to function at its current weight. If you're doing that, then your body needs to pull the energy that it lacks from outside sources because it's not getting enough sources through you. So what it does is it pulls into your previously stored fat, burns those things, and then uses that for energy. So when you create that calorie deficit, what you're doing is you're telling your body, hey, I'm giving you this much energy, please go burn my previously stored fat for that lack of energy, and therefore I'm going to lose weight, right? That's pretty much in simple terms what calorie deficit actually is. And if you're not losing weight right now, it's because you're not doing this. You're not being in a calorie deficit, or you're not being in a calorie deficit for long enough to actually see the results, to actually see the scale going down. So the first step is realizing that you're not in a calorie deficit actually, and the calorie deficit is the reason any single person in this world loses weight. Calorie deficit. And calorie deficit pretty much is, what is a calorie? Calorie is basically a unit of energy. And if this equals unit of energy, that's the same thing as like height in inches. So if we know this is true, then calorie is basically the same in every instance. So this means that if you are, let's say, giving your body less calories, fewer calories than it needs, you're going to be losing weight. If you do this consistently over a long enough period of time, you're going to start seeing results, and you're going to start seeing your scale drop and all of that. In the first week, in the first 2 weeks, it's already going to be visible. So I'll give you an example here. Let's say that you right now, your body right now needs, let's say 3,000 calories to function at its current weight, right? And if you want to maintain this weight, you're going to need to be you're giving your body every single day 3,000 calories if you want to maintain your current weight. And if you do this every single day for 30 days, let's say, you're going to remain the same weight for those 30 days. Now, if you want to gain weight, let's say you eat 3,500 calories per day, what's going to happen? Well, you're going to be gaining 500 calories worth of energy, therefore worth of fat stores. So what's going to happen is when you give your body more energy than it needs, then it's going to be like, all right, what do I do with this energy? There's so much energy. Well, let's store it as a fat cell, so that way I can use that later on if I ever lack it, right? So that's what it does. And it stores this 500 extra worth of energy as fat. Therefore, you gain weight. You gain weight. And the same is true if you want to lose weight. You need to be giving your body fewer energy than it needs, fewer calories than it needs, if you want to be losing weight, right? So this way, I'm going to repeat myself. Basically, you need 3,000 calories to maintain your current weight. You give your body 2,500 calories every single day. Therefore, you lose 500 calories worth of fat every single day. And therefore, you lose weight. That's how simple it is. And the only reason you're not actually losing weight is because you're not in a thing called calorie deficit. You're not being in a calorie deficit, or you're not in a calorie deficit for long enough. So that's why you're not actually losing weight. Change that and you're going to start losing weight. There is no possible way that you don't lose weight if you are in a calorie deficit. And now, once we know that, I'm going to show you 2 ways that you can use to create this calorie deficit. So you heard me saying that you give your body fewer energy than it needs, fewer calories than it needs. How do you do that? There are 2 primary ways you can do that. And right now, I'm going to show you what those 2 primary ways are. And I'm going to give you 5 steps for the step 1. And I'm going to give you 4 steps for the step 2 that you can start implementing right now. So the first way is you eat fewer calories. And the second way is you burn more calories. These are the only 2 ways you can create a calorie deficit. Therefore, these are the only 2 ways you can actually lose weight. You can either burn more through exercise, or you can eat fewer calories and therefore not do any exercise and just eat fewer calories and therefore create that calorie deficit that way. So right now I'm going to show you 5 steps that you can complete step by step so that you start eating the first way, eat fewer calories than your body needs. So the first step is by figuring out your TDEE number. This stands for total daily energy expenditure number. First of all, you need to figure out how many calories does your body actually need. Is it 3,000? Is it 4,000? Is it 2,000? Is it 2,500? 2,600? You need to figure out your TDEE, and that is that. That is how many calories your body needs right now to function at its current weight. And the best way to figure out your TDEE in the fastest way possible is just to go onto online calculator, type in online TDEE calculator. It's going to pull the TDEE calculators. Of course, they're not going to be 100% perfect, and they're not even going to be like 80% perfect. But I'm going to show you in the 5th step how you can actually make these things perfect. But you just input all of these things into it. So let's say I'm 30 years old and I have 120 kilos and I'm 190. And let's say I work an office job and my body fat is around 30%. So I'm going to calculate, and it says here 2,621. We have that number, so it's 2,621. All right. So now you know your total daily energy expenditure number. You know how many calories your body burns at its current weight right now. The next step is you go ahead and you subtract this TDEE number by 500 to 1,000. This way you're going to create actually a calorie deficit number, and you're going to have that calorie intake number that you're going to actually be eating to lose weight. So let's say that we go ahead and we subtract that number by 500. Although I would recommend you that you go with the higher end of this range, because it's going to get you quick results, and therefore you're going to probably stay consistent with it because you're seeing results faster and all of that. So I usually go with a higher range, so we can create those results really quickly. But in the case when your TDEE number is really low, then you go with the lower range of this scale here. But let's say that we're going to create a 500 calorie deficit. So therefore we take this number and we subtract it, and we subtract that by 500. So that is going to give us 2,121 calories. This is going to be our calorie intake number. From there, what you're going to do is you're going to open up your app store and you're going to download a calorie tracking app. That could be MyFitnessPal, Lose It, or whatever app would suggest you is use MyFitnessPal because it has like 15 million database of foods. So that way you have everything in one app and it's really convenient. Get used to the app, input this number, this your calorie intake number into the app, and that is the third step done. Then we get to the fourth step, which is basically where we make things a reality, where you go ahead and every single day you actually eat and drink this amount of calories, right? And what you do is you just make sure that whatever you eat and whatever you drink, you log those things into the app and you track, all right, how many calories am I left for a day? And then you try to not go above that calorie, this calorie intake number, because that's our calorie deficit number. That's how we actually going to lose weight. And you do this for 7 days, for 14 days, for 31 days, and you go into the step 5, which is you track and you iterate and you make adjustments if you plateau. For example, you may have, let's say, 2,121 calories intake and you're eating this amount for, let's say, 60 days and you've made progress, you've lost weight, you saw the scale going down, but after 60 days you start seeing your scale kind of plateauing. So you're eating this 2,121 calories and you're tracking everything perfectly and it worked out fine before, but right now, you know, the scale is kind of plateauing, right? And you're not actually losing weight. So what is happening? Well, our bodies adapt, and when you give your body, you know, fewer calories than it needs, our bodies quickly adapt to that new calorie intake. So what you need to do is you need to track those numbers, your body weight and your calorie intake, and make adjustments moving forward. So for example, if you see that your scale is kind of plateauing, you can go 2 ways from there. You can either do the step 2 again here, burn more calories, or you can eat fewer calories. So you go ahead and you subtract this by, this 2,121 by, let's say, 100 to 150, right? So you create that even deeper calorie deficit, and that way you're going to start losing weight again. But the fifth step is crucial because it's going to allow you to actually notice that this is actually happening and therefore make correct adjustments moving forward. The way I like to track and iterate is basically have all of my data in a spreadsheet. Therefore, I can access it with one click and it's all there and I can see it clearly. And one piece of advice I would give you is you should track your weekly average body weight, because there can be day-to-day fluctuations with your weight due to how much water you drank yesterday, let's say, or today, or how many carbs you ate, because carbs store water, and these things can influence your daily fluctuations with weight. So the best way to go about it is to weigh yourself every single morning after bathroom on an empty stomach, and then input the number into a spreadsheet, and then have spreadsheet calculate your weekly average body weight, and then you compare your weekly average body weight for this week to the previous week, and if you lost weight, good, we're in calorie deficit, we're making progress. If the average weekly body weight right now is the same or is even higher than the previous, then we actually need to go a step further and we need to go in either eat fewer calories or burn more calories from there. So that's why this fifth step, as I said, is extremely crucial. And the next way you can actually create a calorie deficit is to burn more calories. So you can be eating the same amount of calories, but actually burning more calories. And there are 4 steps to making this happen. So the first thing is you need to calculate your TDEE number again. We just went over it. Let's say it's 2,621. The next step is we have 500 to 1,000 calories we want to burn on top of that, right? Now, once we know this, we need to figure out what exercise and how many hours of that exercise per day, per week, per month we need to do to burn this many calories every single day. And this is how you do it. So you figure out, the third step is figure out what exercise burns this many calories. So you can either choose resistance training, you can either choose running, walking, high intensity interval training. It could be sports, basketball, football, whatever. And therefore, you need to figure out how many hours you're going to be doing of this per day, per week, or per month, and does that equal into 500 or 1000 calories, right? And then the fourth step is, again, you track and you iterate. I mean, you need to do track and iterations all the time, because if you don't track, then you don't have data, then like you don't know what you're doing, right? So you'll never improve, and you're just going to be guessing. And when you're guessing, you're not making progress. You're just playing around. But when you're actually wanting to lose weight and wanting to change your body and life, you need to be serious about it and track everything and iterate and make adjustments and do all of those things, so that way you can make continual progress moving towards your ultimate goal. So this is the how. You either eat fewer calories or you burn more calories. That's how you create a calorie deficit, and that's how you actually lose weight. If you're not losing weight right now, it's because you're not being in a calorie deficit, and you're not in a calorie deficit because you're not eating fewer calories than your body needs, or you're not burning more calories than your body needs. And right now, I'm going to give you 3 steps to plan this out and make this a reality for you. So what you can take away from this video right now, so you can, once you finish watching, you can go ahead and actually apply these things into your life, into your day-to-day right now, today, after watching this video, so you can actually start losing weight and actually enjoy your life. So the first step is you need to choose. Once you know whether you want to eat fewer calories or burn more calories, or maybe you want to do both, then you need to choose. I'm either doing the first way or the second way, and you choose. That's the first thing that you need to do. The second thing is you plan. You plan out your days. You look at your 30 days, and here I want you to plan out 30 days. Plan out 30 days, day by day, what you're going to do each day that you wake up. How many calories am I going to eat, or how many exercises am I going to do every single day? And it has to be equaling into a calorie intake that's actually going to lose me weight. Write it in a notebook, like day 1, I'm going to do this. Day 2, I'm going to do this. Day 3, this. And write it all down for 30 days. Map it all out and set a hypothesis. I'm going to be sticking to this. And this is the third step, hypothesis, which is basically, I'm going to be sticking to this and I'm going to lose weight. And if I don't, then I'm going to iterate things around, and I'm going to set another 30 days that are actually going to help me lose weight. So it's basically hypothesis and iterate and track and improve, right? But you need to commit also. This is also in the third step. Basically, you commit for 30 days to executing every single day on the steps that you set out you're going to execute. And that way, this wraps up for this video. Basically, to wrap it up, why are you not losing weight? Well, you're not losing weight even though you're working out hard, and even though you're eating healthy, you're not being in a calorie deficit. It doesn't matter if you sprint every day, if you do a marathon every day, if you're eating more than you're burning, you're still not going to be losing weight. So you can work out all day long, but if you're eating while working out, right, you're not being in a calorie deficit, therefore you won't lose weight. And there are 2 ways that you can create a calorie deficit. You either eat fewer calories or you burn more calories. And we went over how you can eat fewer calories, and we went over how you can burn more calories, step by step. And then the third step is basically a plan. This is what you do right now. Choose whether you're going to be going with step number one, whether you're going to be eating fewer calories, or step number 2, whether you're going to be burning more calories. Once you chosen that, plan your next 30 days. Sit down right now, take a notebook and write it all down. Write down, day 1, I'm going to be doing this. Day 2, this. Like that for 30 days. Then step 3 is tomorrow, once you wake up, you actually execute on that. And you commit and you stick with it. And then you watch the data, you look at the data after 30 days, sticking to it, you see whether or not you made progress. And if you did, Good job, continue doing that. But if you didn't, that's data, that's feedback. Use that, iterate more, plan next 30 days, and that's how you do it. That is it for this video. If you don't want to go through all of this, we have a one-to-one custom coaching program. You can click the first link below to book a call, speak with either me or someone from my team. We're going to do all of this for you so you don't have to go through this pain. That's it for today. Book a call if you're interested. Talk soon.